Here's a story from entrepreneur.com. This gets worse before it gets better. Kevin O'Leary warns of real chaos set to hit the U.S. economy this fall. Thought this was interesting. I saw this a couple days ago. He said, you're just starting to see the chips fall. The layering is as follow. The regional banks don't know yet what their capital requirements are going to be. So their loan books have closed like a turtle in a shell. This gets worse before it gets better. And what's it doing to small business? Killing them right now. O'Leary argued that not enough money is being pumped into small businesses and blamed the most recent Fed hikes, including a benchmark raise of 0.25% last month. Yada, 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 yada. The only thing I really care about this article is it's another high-profile business person sounding the alarm bells in the economy. And after learning about what's about to happen with student loans kicking in and a lot of people not being able to pay them back, it is not unreasonable, in my opinion, that that could be a large catalyst, or at least a small component of. I don't know if it's be the big component or the small component of some kind of economic crisis, especially if it hits the co-signers on the student loan debt. And then, of course, you have, I've mentioned several times, Michael Burry betting against the U.S. stock market. It seems like the people who have a lot of money are concerned the market's going to take a hit. I have no idea what that means. I got people asking me every day, like, should I buy property right now? I'm like, I had no idea. Because they're like, but if the market's going to crash, I'm like, maybe. Probably. I have no idea.
What upsets me the most, and it's so infuriating, is we get these jobs numbers out every month, and the White House or mainstream media, take your pick, they put this positive little spin on it and wrap it up in a little bow, rather than just telling the Americans, hey, here's the problem, and here's what you guys can do as citizens of this country to help everybody and work towards resolving this problem, because it is so complex, and there's no easy solution out of this.
The economy?
Yeah. I mean, this all ties into the state of the economy right now.
It's not monetary, that's for sure. We're not going to fix the economy by another kind of money. It's going to be through materials. I talked with Stu Peters about this. I believe it's live on his channel on Rumble, but I'll be posting a link on that on Twitter later. The interview I did with Stu Peters. It's technology. If we can make energy cheaper, make fuel cheaper, then the economy has become better. And so if a tenth of the economy is fuel and you make that a tenth cheaper, you've basically made 1% of your economy. You've made your economy a 1% better. So it's like, that's why I'm obsessed with hydrogen fuel right now. Like, I feel like we can make cheap fuel, make cheap heat, electricity, building materials, transportation, the basics.
The trouble is when you see these videos at a Times Square where someone goes up to another person and says, name a country that starts with the letter U, and they can't do it. Or they say, like, who's the current president of the United States, and they don't know it. And they'll say, like, when did America get its independence? And they'll be like, 1871. Like, they have no idea. And you have a lot of these people, they vote. And when you see these videos, there are powerful individuals who then are deeply offended that these people are consuming resources and polluting. And so they turn around and say stuff like, we need to get a control on overpopulation because there's too many of these people weighing us down. You then get phrases like useless eaters. You get weird international policies such as you will own nothing and you will be happy. And ultimately that means, Ian, you will not get your cold fusion and your spaceships, because in the event that there's an energy revolution on par with like this level of fusion energy, which is insane, that would mean a massive and explosive population boom.
That's for sure.
And there's a lot of powerful people who don't want that to happen. I gotta read this super chat from Sumner Robinson. Citibank has a total of, is that 14 trillion? No, 14 billion?
15, basically.
About 15 billion. I was like, trillion doesn't make sense. Oh, no, okay, I see right here. 15 billion shorting the NASDAQ and 7 billion shorting the S&P. Bank of America has 23, is that billion, shorting the NASDAQ and 18 billion shorting the S&P. Reminds me of The Big Short, when the guys who bet against the housing market were wondering why their credit default swaps were stable as delinquencies were skyrocketing and the mortgages were becoming worthless. It's because the banks were lying about what was going on so they could offload their exposure to unsuspecting smaller banks and lenders or individuals. So they would go and say, hey, this is worth a lot of money, you should buy it. Then they would. Then as soon as they offloaded all their debt, they went, market's exploding, have a nice day. And nobody goes to jail for it.
And at the end of The Big Short, remember they said, they had a little joke. How you're like, oh, we totally held people accountable. Just kidding. No, we didn't.